consistent with fundamental criminal law principles or current science. This law does not require intent to harm, actual harm, or even risk of harm for prosecution. Instead, it uses a person's health status as a substitute for those essential elements and targets behavior that pose no or negligible risk of HIV transmission, such as oral sex or exposure to saliva. Incarceration for what is effectively a verbal felony is ignorance at best and at worst a violation of my Eighth Amendment rights under the U.S. Constitution. Therefore, Georgia's law is a legal hammer that does cause harm. Georgia's law denies people living with HIV the equal protection of the laws because it singles them out for prosecution in response to conduct that is not criminal in the case of other groups. This has real consequences. Women living with HIV are at increased risk of violence, sexual coercion. I testified yesterday in the Senate Judiciary meeting in House Bill 51 about how this law kept me from reporting rape that I experienced at a local university, and trapped in unsafe circumstances because of laws like ours. Laws like ours are also used as a bargaining chip to get defendants living with HIV to plead out of a trial for non-HIV related crimes, a violation of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. By insisting on disclosure, Georgia's law also compels free speech in violation of the First Amendment. Finally, the law violates the Americans with Disabilities Act. We have learned a lot since the 1980s. This law was passed in 1988. I was 5. I'm now 34, the whole time living with HIV. Today, we know that HIV is best addressed through public health. We know what causes HIV, we know how to prevent it, and we know how to treat it. It's 2017, ladies and gentlemen. It's high time our state re-examine this archaic, ineffective, and discriminatory law. Please vote yes to House Resolution 240.
Okay, did anyone have questions of Ms. Martinez? Representative LaRickie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would you share briefly a specific instance personally of where you have been discriminated against and how it impacted your ability to move freely and do all the things that you do?
Okay, so I won't read my testimony from yesterday, but I'll briefly explain that about 9 years ago, I was sexually assaulted by an Emory undergraduate student. I was at Emory for graduate school. And because of this law, I immediately knew that I wasn't going to report it to law enforcement because we've got public perception of rape victims making stories up all the time, and we have the public perception that people living with HIV are monsters. If as soon as like the issue of consent was entered into the courtroom and as soon as HIV was uttered, it was never going to be about consent. It was going to be about my HIV status. And so I was afraid of the very real possibility of going to prison for my own sexual assault because of this law. There's no affirmative criminal defense in that I actually had someone tell him after he assaulted me, had someone notify him via third party that he had 72 hours to go to DeKalb Medical Center to get HIV post-exposure prophylaxis to prevent getting HIV when he assaulted me. The law doesn't care that I did that. The law only cares about what I did not say. And so yesterday at House Bill 51, I said, if you believe that I should have used my HIV status, a disclosure of that as an anti-rape tool, you're a rape apologist. Because what am I supposed to do when he, uses a gun to punish me because of HIV stigma, but I complied with the law? So I'm darned if I do and darned if I don't. I don't date since I moved here in 2005, just because the law is so overwhelmingly broad that people use it as a legal hammer. And I need it to change. And I think structurally, Georgia needs it to change in order to have it make an impact on the HIV epidemic.
Ms. Martinez, we thank you for your testimony and for your support of this resolution, because this resolution will be looking at those issues that you raise and many others in our health care. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else who would like to speak to the resolution? If not, do I have a motion? 16.
Motion.
Representative Prince.
At the proper time, I'd like to motion that we do pass.
That's the proper time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to motion that we do pass.
I'll have a motion to pass. Have a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, then those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you very much, Chairman Cook. Excuse me, Chairman Cooper. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't ask you, but you were operating off of LC 337052S, which is a committee substitute.
And I will tell the committee that, I don't want to make light of this, Martin, it's a serious problem, but that is not the main focus.
No.
You can rest assured. I mean, we don't mind looking at it as one aspect of it, but it's much broader than that. But I am not making light here. It is a stigma of HIV. It is still a major problem in our state, and I didn't know she was going to come and speak, but thank you very much for approving this resolution.
Thank you. All right, we have House Resolution 629. Is Chairman Hatchett here? All right, then let's, House Resolution 634, Representative Coomer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. HR 634 would set up a study committee for the looking at the issue of civics education in Georgia. It's a very small committee, 3 members. We expect to have 1 meeting and a presentation from DOE and others. And I would ask for you to authorize this resolution for the study committee.
Okay, I want to thank you personally also for bringing this one. I think that's something our schools are in bad need of. Are there any questions of Chairman Coon? Representative Parrish, is that? Yeah.
Thank you, Representative Coomer. I didn't have a chance to read it. At what grade level?
I'm sorry.
What grade level
It-
with the civics?
K-12.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we'd be able to look at how civics education is taught in Georgia at any level. And frankly, I'm not sure what we're doing now, and that's part of the reason for the committee is to find out what we're doing now and how we might improve on it.
Right, well, I totally agree with this, and thank you so much for bringing this to us.
Thank you.
All right, and Representative LaRicca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would I be right in assuming that Mr. Tommy Benton would probably be included in that?
Well, I know that the Chairman of Education is one of our co-signers, and he'll probably be a member, and it's up to the speaker who he wants to put on the committee.
All right, any other questions?
I don't think your question was germane.
All right, then, Representative Prince, it's appropriate time. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not see your button, I'm sorry.
I'd like to move that we do pass House Resolution 608.
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Could you repeat that number of the bill?
Number of the bill is LC 337028,
634, my apologies.
Yes, it's House Resolution 634.
House resolution. Mhm. All right. Those in favor then, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, members.
We have another resolution on our calendar for today, and it is a resolution from Chairman Hatchett. Don't know whether he sent anybody to present the motion or not. Let me ask, let's do this a little differently then. If you will, take time, it's LC 363375. Take time to read that proposal. This is a study committee that is to look at the state capitol and basically the appearance and the architecturally, historically, politically of the capitol. A similar resolution has passed out of the Senate, and this would just combine the two committees into basically one to look at this.
I talked to Chairman Hatcher a little bit about this.
Excuse me just a minute. Number 50, oh, yeah.
Is this me?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
this evidently is something that we need to very seriously pass. It's very much needed, and there's nothing better that we need to take care of in these buildings. And if it's appropriate, I'd like to just say, I move we do pass this.
Hold the motion until we see if there's any other
I will
discussion.
do-
Is there any other discussion of this particular resolution? If not, then it is the correct time.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Like sign, and the motion is carried. And with that, we will adjourn our committee meeting. Thank you very much.